She's the daughter of political stalwart Katie Knight, an attorney and educator. And Stacey Knight is confident that she will beat six-term MP Delroy Chuck in Northeast St. Andrew. Hi, Stacey. A pleasure to have you on the Trailblazers platform. Your first time here. Hope it's not the last.
I hope so too. Hi, Tamara, and hi to everybody watching Tamara's channel.
Welcome. It's indeed a pleasure to have you. I mean, you come from quite a political family with quite the father there, KD Knight. I actually remembered when I was at Carmack, the media school there at UWI, and we had to dress up as politicians. I don't remember what we were doing, but we had to dress up as politicians, and I dressed up as KD. And
Did you?
yes, and
Yes.
I had the like used some cotton balls and to
For the
make
beard. Funny you should say that. Recently, somebody said to me, if I'm just like him. And I said, well, one thing for sure, I don't wear a beard. So, yeah. But clearly, you were being like him one day,
Oh
at
yes,
least
I
just for
was.
one day.
Oh yes, and I was being like pathological mendacious. But
Yes.
yes, it's about you and come from a fine legacy in terms of politics. So tell our viewers a little bit about Stacey.
Well, Stacey is an attorney for the past 12 years. Prior to that, I worked in education and computer science, IT, database management, and programming. I was teaching those things because my educational background is that I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, a master's in educational psychology. And then after 10 years, a decade or so of using those two in combination, then I decided to study law. I'm a mother of two children, and yeah, that's it. And a daughter of KD Knight and Dr. Pauline Knight, now deceased.
Fantastic. And one of the things I actually am finding very interesting since I've been doing this political series during the campaign period, a lot of the PNP candidates tend to be educators. Quite a bit of you that I've interviewed are.
Really? I guess that's coincidence.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's any specific policy or push by the PNP to have educators in representational politics, but I think it's a good coincidence. It's a good thing.
All right. So let's get a little bit more into you entering representational politics as a newcomer. Of course, even though, yes, your father is KD Knight, I'm sure it is no easy feat for you to take and, to be going up against a political stalwart as that of Delroy Chuck.
My daughter run against one named Chuck. When once she entered, I told all the labor right, Chuck run out of luck. Stacey, going to retire, Delroy. You know, when the sheriff say, time to go.
Pack your bags and go.
Who's been there for about 25 years, I understand.
28. Yeah,
28.
28.
Oh,
Six
wow.
terms.
So
Yeah.
even with you have the big man KD Knight behind you, how do you feel to take on such a challenge?
Well, it's a challenge, but I love challenges. I mean, as I've told you, I've done a lot in my life that has required me to dig deep and find my grit, and just make it happen. And so that's what I'm doing. The reason I chose this constituency is because I live in this constituency and I've lived here all my life. And so I see the needs, I feel the needs as one of the residents of this constituency. We haven't really had the type of representation that I think we deserve in St. Andrew Northeastern. There are a lot of gaps. There are a lot of gaps, and I want to fill those gaps and deliver to people the kind of access to healthcare, access to quality education, modern infrastructure, opportunity for young people. Yeah, those are the things that I am focusing on bringing to St. Andrew Northeastern.
Tell us about the reason why you decided to enter representational politics, because yes, your father is a well-known politician, but at the same time, that does not necessarily mean that you also had to enter politics. So why?
Yeah, you know, when you just feel a call, you hear a call. Like literally, I was asked by human beings, but also I feel a call from the divine. That, and I've been raised in a way by my parents that when you see something needs to be done, it's not enough to just complain about it. If you can do it, then go and do it. And so I'm not content to just sit on the sidelines and say that, oh, we should have this and we should have that. In fact, I was complaining to some of my comrades, members of the party, last year after the local government election that, come, guys, we need to do better. We need to win next time and we need a good candidate. And the
Yes.
conversation went on and they all said, Stacey, you're the candidate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You
It
kind
took.
of went into that.
Yeah. And people had asked me before, but it wasn't my time. But I'm ready now. And so I decided, well, why not? Take the plunge. Let me do it. And I decided to represent this constituency because this is where I got the call. The call was not just that Stacey Knight wants to be in the House of Parliament. The call was that St. Andrew Northeastern needs good representation and I can do it. And I decided to do it. The party actually, members of the party, several persons, tried to attract me to other constituencies where I would have an easier path to Garden House. Three in particular, but I wasn't interested. I even went and met with some of the people at those other constituencies just out of respect, really. But my heart isn't there for that purpose. This is the purpose for which I feel I have been called
That's
at this time.
that's interesting, especially the part that even though you could have gotten a seat that we could say is much easier, you
Yep.
decided to take the harder route. Some, though, Stacey, may say that politics in Jamaica is family business on both sides. We see, prime minister and wife, fathers and children, and some may actually bash you because of that, to say, well, it's just family business. What would you say to that?
Well, what I would say to that, and I'm trying to run through the different families in my mind right now. On my side, I'm not thinking of any where the parent and the child represented the same constituency. And that's where the family business type of thing comes in, that you think you can just hand it down to your child, that, this surname has represented this area. And so the people will just connect because of the surname.
Yes.
As I just told you, I have not done that.
Yes.
My father represented a constituency in East Central St. Catherine, and that's one of the three that I could have taken if I was interested. Natalie Nita Garvey has been there for several terms, and she was saying that maybe she won't go another term. She actually asked me, Stace, would you do it? I didn't want to go there. That's not my style. That's not my place. I'm a grong and I'm a grong that. My grong is right here in Northeast St. Andrew.
Yes.
And so it's no family business for me, except that I have the man's DNA, right? KD Knight is my father. That's not something I chose. That's something I inherited.
Yes.
But to be fighting and working for a constituency, I didn't inherit anything there. I'm working for it
Indeed.
from the ground up.
From the ground up. It's interestingly you mentioned Chuck has been there 6 terms and you're identifying many of these gaps. Do you think he has gotten complacent? What do you think has caused that?
I would say that I don't know if it's complacency. I don't know what it is about him. I don't want to talk so much about what he's doing or what he's not doing or why he's doing it because I really don't know. All I know is that there are many gaps. And I guess perhaps after a long time, people may run out of ideas or maybe never started with many in the first place. I don't know what it is, but the things that I know need to be done and the things that can be done just because of thinking outside the box, I don't see them happening and I don't hear anyone from Delroy Chuck or on his side talking about any kind of initiatives that will really bring the type of change that I want to bring to St. Andrew Northeastern.
Give us some practical changes that you're planning on instituting should you become successful in the general elections.
Okay, well, one change that seems to resonate a lot with people is mobile health clinics. We have it's the constituency spans from Peters Rock, if you know the area, from Peters Rock, which is in the north of St. Andrew, in the rural part of St. Andrew, trending towards places like Portland. So yeah, but Peters Rock to the halfway tree clock. So we go from rural in the north of the constituency to very high income residential in places like Cherry Gardens and Russell Heights, Graham Heights, and so on. And then we go into middle income areas and some different high density, lower income areas in Barbican and Grand Spain, Shortwood. And then more middle income, but a lot of townhouse type and apartments in areas like Kingsway, Surbiton. And then we go right down to the clock. And the halfway tree clock is a part of this constituency. Halfway tree is the junction of a lot of constituencies that merge right there, but the clock belongs to us.
Interesting.
And in all of those areas, just one health clinic. It's at the Grand Spain, same premises as the Grand Spain police station. It's the Edna Manley Health Clinic. It's the only clinic. And so people aren't really served by that clinic in a timely manner. There's long lines, long waits. And so one of my initiatives will be to bring mobile health clinics. Either we're going to use a two-pronged model. One is to have a mobile unit, a caravan type unit that moves from location to location. So people will know it will be in your area. It will be in Sandy Park on the last Thursday of the month, or, it will be in Jacks Hill, the second Wednesday or something like that. We haven't worked out the schedule yet. The other model for the mobile health clinic is to have the clinic, the people, the medical professionals and the equipment move to a fixed location that they temporarily utilize, like a school or a church. So like we could use schools on the weekends, or we could use a church during the week. So similarly, people would know that the clinic will be at that place, at that time. So that's one initiative. Other initiatives more focus on quality education, having access to quality education. Special needs, kids with special needs are left behind. Though the Ministry of Education says every child can learn and every child must learn, we're not living that. There are lots of children who aren't learning because they're left at home, because there's no school nearby or no school that their parents can afford that offers special education for kids with Down syndrome or autism. And there's a whole spectrum. When you say spectrum, we're talking about autistic, but even beyond the spectrum, there's a whole plethora of learning differences that children can have that requires special intervention to make sure that they can achieve outcomes that allow them to be functional members of society. We're not looking at that. And as member of parliament, I see myself as an advocate for the constituency, an advocate for the residents, an advocate for the schools so that the schools can be high performing. We have 3 primary schools in the constituency, new primary schools, government primary schools. There are also a lot of private prep schools.
Yes.
And we have 1 high school and a whole lot of basic schools, early childhood. But the primary schools, I think that's the level really where the learning needs to take place. Kids can start primary school without having gone to a teaching institution for early childhood. They would have a head start if they did, but if they didn't, when they start primary school, they can still learn all the things they need to learn by grade 6 to be literate, numerate, and ready to go to high school. Our primary schools, 3 primary schools in St. Andrew Northeastern are underperforming. I'm saying this because I went to the graduation ceremonies recently and the principals all spoke of that in their principal's report. And the main thing they put it to is a lack of resources. And so I'm going to ensure that my primary schools have the resources they need. I'm going to advocate for the government to provide them. And where the government can't, we partner with private persons to make sure that we have this computer labs, the skilled teachers, the homework centers, the after school training areas and curriculum, after school curriculum, so that children can develop the whole holistic person, you know?
Yes.
So I think I've covered all two. I've told you about the health and education. And there's a whole lot of other things that I'm going to do that I don't see happening now.
So you had some fantastic ideas there, and those, as you mentioned, are just a few of what you plan to bring to the constituency. Your constituency, as you just mentioned, though, it has a wide demographic. You mentioned, of course, you have the high income earners, the cherry gardens, you have, the lower income earners, the middle class. So how do you plan to sort of navigate that?
Well, people are my thing. I really connect well with people. I love people. And so connecting with people and the various demographics I don't find it difficult at all. Navigating switching from upper income to middle income to lower income. It flows naturally for me. As for the different needs in the different areas, well, you just need to talk and listen. I do a lot of listening when I'm with people so that I get to understand what their needs are. And as I mentioned, partnerships help us to actually meet the needs because there are areas where people of affluence may want to volunteer or donate to assist. Also, people who may not be necessarily affluent, but who have certain skills and experience and who are accomplished in certain areas may want to mentor a young person who needs a mentor, a guide, somebody to help them to navigate the difficult world of work. Because one of the things I've found is that a lot of young people, they get opportunities, they get a job, and in no time you hear that they've left that job. And when I ask them, what happened? You said you wanted a job, you got the job. The man dissed me, or the girl down the place dissed me. And it's usually sometimes it seems minor to me or trivial. But if somebody feels offended, then they are truly offended. But mentorship, helping people to develop the thick skin and the broad back that it takes to make it in this world, that those things help. And not everybody has parents who are going to be able to guide them to success. And so mentorship programs and internships, because we have a large commercial area in the constituency as well, in on Constant Spring Road, all of those plazas from Premier Plaza, Lane Plaza, Tropical Plaza, all of those that's all a part of my constituency. I want to utilize the strengths that people have to help to bridge the gaps and bring up other people who have weaknesses. I'm the collaborator, the glue that brings everything together.
I like that. Yeah, but way with words. But then you're an educator. One of the things, though, I wanted to follow up on in terms of the middle class and the high income earners. I found, especially when I've been asking, even with this election, many of them are not interested in voting or interested in the political process. I don't know in your campaign if that's what you're seeing as well.
Well, that's what I saw a lot of at the start. But to be honest, Tamara, since when people listen to me, when they read my manifesto, and here's a copy of my manifesto, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah.
Yes.
And it's a 12-page manifesto that I wrote together with my team and in collaboration with others. When people hear the plans and ideas, I get a lot of, maybe I would have voted, maybe I would vote. A lot of people are saying that. And I mean, it's too late to get registered to vote now.
Yes.
But up to the deadline for this election, I was aggressively enumerating people, speaking to them and getting them to log on to Progress. And so many people, young people too, have gotten enumerated for the first time, as well as older people.
Wow.
There are a lot of older people who never voted or never voted in this constituency, either got enumerated or moved their votes to where they now live, because some people said like last time they vote was 1980 or 1970, but
Wow.
all right, they'll vote now.
Fantastic. So you're saying the residents have been receptive towards you?
very much. Like it has been tremendous. In fact, can I use this opportunity to just apologize to anybody whose call or WhatsApp I have not responded to yet? And I say yet because I will get around to them, but some of them might be after election day. Just because it's just too many. I've been getting so many calls and messages from people, sometimes telling me, oh, they met this person. This is a neighbor who wasn't going to vote and is now going to vote for you. Give them a call. They want to see you. Come to their area. They need to. This community hasn't seen you yet. That community saw you, but this person wasn't home when you went.
Yes.
I've been inundated and I'm trying my best to respond to everybody, but playing catch up.
And of course, that's understandable. Stacey, what would you say distinguishes you as a fresh newcomer, but at the
Mhm.
same time with political experience and knowledge from a six-term MP?
I think you answered the question. That fresh is the word. Fresh is really it. And change. There isn't a lot happening. I mean, what's happening now? I, the residents of this constituency don't feel comfortable going to their MP's office to discuss issues. They're not being consulted. Nobody's asking them how the constituency development fund should be spent. There are no town hall meetings. All of these things are pledges that I have made in my manifesto to have regular online or in person consultative meetings with the residents of all ilks, including those who didn't vote for me. Because when I become the member of parliament, I'll be the member of parliament for all of the constituency, for all of the constituents, the old and the young, the rich and the poor, the PNP, the JLP, the ones who didn't vote, everybody. And so I want to establish an office of the Member of Parliament that is a comfortable, non-partisan space. It won't be branded orange. I have an office branded orange now at the corner of Russell Heights. We in the height of campaign season, gotta be branded orange for that. But I also have the Jamaica flag flying there. And that is there to tell people that this is about Jamaica. It's about making Jamaica a better place, one constituency at a time. And I'm starting with St. Andrew, Northeastern.
Indeed. Does gender, the issue of gender as a woman in politics, and you have children, I don't know if they're adults or if you're still in school, but how do you manage that? Because politics, as we know, it's not an easy thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So my children, one of the reasons I could enter politics now is that my children are both adults. They're both of voting age. They
Oh,
both voted last year in the 2024 elections, and they're going to vote for their mommy Wednesday. Yes, I have two children in both in university. So yeah, as a woman in politics, it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, let me just leave it at that. It's not easy, but I am braving it and I'm doing what I need to do. I maintain boundaries to make sure that, people don't cross the line with me. I tend to be very friendly and, I like to press flesh, to shake hands, and hugs are things that it's natural for me.
yes.
But I don't cross the line. I don't allow people to cross the line. So everybody knows where they stand with me. And I just do what I need to do to get where I need to go. And that means showing respect and demanding respect as well.
And as an attorney with obviously once should you become successful, will you be able to balance workload?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I know that. But others have done it. And it really depends on just how much time management, delegation, people management, having the right people. Because, I don't have to physically do everything. I just need to have the ideas, the plans, and have competent people on my team, both in my law firm and as member of parliament. If I have competent teams everywhere, I can multitask. I've done that before. I'm doing it right now.
How have things been for you on the campaign trail, Stacey? I've seen you out there with your dad, see you on the news and everything, but as a newcomer though, it must be sort of overwhelming.
It has been overwhelming at some points, but I've been warming up to it. I'm enjoying it more now than I was 12 months ago. I really am. I guess it's growing on me. I'm getting accustomed to it. Interviews like this are becoming more commonplace for me. I've done a few, and so I kind of know what I want to say. Being on a political platform, I have my notes and my structure, so I know what I want to say, and I'm coming into my own. I mean, the response from people has really been very encouraging. I keep hearing people say just how impressed they are, that they're this is excellent, and for the first time they're interested in politics. I mean, I have friends who told me they're not interested in politics, and now they're coming on board because you see, politics is really just the process by which human beings make decisions in groups. That's what the word politics means. So politics is in everything. When people say, boy, the church too political, or them can't bother with PTA at school because the politics in it, and it's politics. There's politics everywhere. It's real. Because people in groups need to make decisions. So there's always going to be politics. Now I'm involved in the politics in governance. And because I've been involved in politics everywhere else, I'm active in my church. I've been the president of the PTA. I've been on my citizens association in more than one places where I've lived. So I'm accustomed to dealing with politics, how people make decisions in groups. And really, it's about respecting everybody, giving everybody at the table, well, giving everybody a seat at the table. And then when they come to the table, giving them a voice, listening to them so that everybody participates in making those decisions, those political decisions.
Ah, here the educator coming in, breaking down what is politics. Stacey, though, when you look at your constituency, though, what areas do you think you would have to win to secure the win for the People's National Party?
But there's no one area I have to win to secure the win because the votes are everywhere. There are 72 polling divisions, and there are people living in all of them, and everybody's vote counts for one. So, really and truly, because it's a first past the post democratic system, I just need to beat my opponent by one vote. I'm not aiming for that, but I'm just saying I just need to beat him by one. So, when you do the math of the 72 polling divisions, I'm not looking at which ones I need to win. There's some that are stronger than others, but I'm looking to increase the margin for the PNP in every single area because that's just the way I'm doing it. I'm not leaving anybody out. I walk into areas that are strong JLP. I'm there. Yesterday, somebody said to me that when he saw me in a certain area, he was wondering what I was doing there. If I didn't know that it's all green over there. I said, yeah, I know. I know, but those are people too. And I want them to see me and know me. And I don't want them to say that she never even come here, so. I never even see her yet. You'll see me. If you haven't seen me in your area, it's probably because you weren't home or weren't there when I went. But because I've really been going just about everywhere, seeking to maximize my reach everywhere.
No doubt would be quite historic if you were to win. How confident are you?
Very. I'm very confident. When I see what's happening on the ground, not just the reaction to me, but what I see, I mean, from the voters, but what I see the other side doing tells me that they're in panic mode. So I'm not panicking. I'm not a panicker.
What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm just trudging along and doing what I've planned to do, step by step, day by day. And I know that the victory will be mine.
Like, what are you seeing that is making you believe that they're in panic mode?
I'm not sure I want to focus on them. I don't like focusing on them. I want to focus on me. Those who know, if you know, you know. Those who know will know what them doing over there. That shows. They speak of it. They have done interviews and published things in media that have said that they are in a different mode than they have ever been in because they have a strong opponent. That strong opponent is Stacey Knight. So they know. People who know. I don't want to publicize it here.
Okay, not a problem, not a problem. So you have expressed, Stacey, that you're quite confident.
Yeah.
Should you not be successful though, will you continue as the PNP caretaker in that constituency?
Definitely. They would have to remove me physically to get me out. I'm going to be here. I'm here to stay. Definitely. The fact that I chose this constituency, knowing that it was difficult, I know that I'm not God. I don't know the future. As confident as I am of winning, sometimes things go awry. Sometimes there's unfair practices and cheating. There's lots of things that could happen. God forbid that they would happen. But if they do, I'm here to stay. I'm here to serve my constituents. These are my people, and they will be my people for as long as I am able to serve them.
What's one thing your dad said to you when you mentioned that you're ready now?
You sure you're ready? You sure? And then he said, yes, you are. Like, when we, in the early days of it, before I went public and stuff and start, even when I went a little public, he would have conversations with me and say, you just need to chill. Because sometimes I felt nervous at first. And he would say, just relax. You don't have to have the answers to everything. And I really have realized that that's so true. I don't have to have the answers to everything because people have ideas that they can share, and everybody on my team has a place. So thank you, Daddy, for telling me I don't have to have the answers to everything. I am, yeah, putting people in the right places to collaborate, to come up with the answers together.
What is your actual final message to not only the people of your constituents, but Jamaica, as we just are just a few days away from a major defining general election?
Okay, my answer might be a little bit longer than you would perhaps expect, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the PNP manifesto.
Okay.
The pillars of Jamaica love. J for justice, A for access to quality education, M for modern infrastructure, the next A for agriculture and food security, I for innovation and industry, C care for the vulnerable and healthcare, and the final A in Jamaica is for accountability in governance. The PNP is standing on those principles. Jamaica love, the next word love. The L is for land, housing, and ownership. The O is opportunity for youth. V, violence prevention and security. And the E is for environmental resilience. I know our interview is ending, so I won't go into details with each of those, but every one of those applies to my constituents.
You can go into it a bit, man.
Well, for the justice, I'm an attorney, and I am going to be making sure that every opportunity I have to advocate in Parliament for better access to justice, for swifter justice, I will do so. For access to quality education, I've told you about how I feel about education. Modern infrastructure, we have a water problem all across Jamaica, but it's real bad in this constituency. For the past few weeks, we haven't had water. And what we're hearing from the engineers is that it's an infrastructure problem. It's not just the drought. It's the lack of infrastructure and the outdated infrastructure that needs to be repaired, renewed, replaced. So, and as for infrastructure, roads goes without saying, more street lights, which will impact also violence prevention to make places better lit, more parks and spaces for people to play. We have the Porsche initiative, which is about removing zinc fences and with concrete walls, making sure we have sidewalks where people can push strollers and wheelchairs. So that's the modern infrastructure. The next A, agriculture, food insecurity. We want to end food insecurity, which means that people must be able to afford the food that is nutritious for their bodies. Like cheese tricks is not, it's not it. You can't live on that. Where am I? Innovation and industry. Well, industry covers just about every industry, including tourism and all those industries. But I want to focus on like the creative industry because our young people and a lot of our older people too are so creative, but they're not able to turn that creativity into money. I mean, you are a creative with your YouTube channels and so on. And clearly you have had the guidance, the know-how to develop this. Not everybody has that, but they have the creativity and need to So the initiatives that the PNP has for the creative industry, I'm logging on for those and making sure that my constituents will benefit from that. C is for care for the vulnerable. I spoke about children with special needs. I spoke about healthcare. I didn't say much about the elderly, but the elderly is a large population, segment of our population that's vulnerable and that has a lot of needs. Whether they're rich or poor, when people reach a certain age, senior citizens need support. My dad, this morning, I heard him telling somebody that he doesn't do online banking, him can't bother with it, and he has never been inside of an ATM.
Really?
Yeah, it's just too much for him. And so somebody has to do it for him. Now he has me and my children to do it for him. And he has employees because he's an attorney, senior partner in a law firm. But not every senior citizen has that. And so we need to have initiatives that help our senior citizens to navigate this digital world, either to be able to do it themselves or to have somebody trustworthy to do it on their behalf, because lots of banking can't be done by walking into the bank. And even so, the senior citizens may need a drive to take them to the bank, so to take them to fill their prescription and to go collect their pension. So those are some of my initiatives for care for the vulnerable. And the final A in Jamaica is accountability in governance specifically. I want to be held accountable. I want my constituents to tell me what they want to do. I won't be able to do everything. We're going to have to prioritize. But at the end of each period, whether it be 6 months or a year or quarterly, I think a year might be more realistic. I want to be judged. I want to be appraised, to be held accountable so that the next year I can fix the things that probably weren't addressed in the previous year. And at the end of 5 years, I want people to vote because they think I'm performing, not just because them don't see anything better.
Yes.
The love, land, lots of people in my constituency don't own a home. They're living on land where they're what we call squatters. Squatters is a legal term of art. It's not a derogatory term. It's a legal term of art, and it's not illegal to squat. It's illegal to trespass. But squatting, you don't have the title. It means you don't have the title, yeah. And people need to get titles, and so People's National Party is doing a lot and will be doing a lot when we get into government to make sure that Jamaicans have access to a home. We're going to be reducing the time for squatting on government lands. So we won't be taking away anybody's private lands. That will remain the same, and the laws on that remain the same and should be strengthened to prevent land fraud. But where people are on government lands and can prove that they've been there for 25 years or more, they can apply for their title. It used to be 60 years. The O is opportunity for youth. And that I spoke a little bit about that in industry and the creative industry. And I spoke about mentorship and I spoke about internships, all of those things. I want my young people to have opportunities, not just call centers.
Yes.
V, violence prevention. In our constituency, we have a model police station. The design for that police station and the contract to have it built that deal was closed when my father was Minister of National Security back in the 90s. Since the police station has been built, it has been very useful to the community, but it's still underutilized as far as a community policing station. And so we want to strengthen the community policing in all of the areas, not just Grand Spin, but all of the areas that are served by that police station and other police stations as well that serve sections of my constituency. We want to strengthen community policing, and these relationships will prevent some of the violence that happens, yeah, as well as giving young people opportunities to do something other than never finding work for idle hands. And finally, the E, which is environmental resilience. Some of the water issues come under that because climate change is really affecting our access to water. But as I said, it's not just the drought or the extreme climatic conditions. And even if it was just the drought and not the pipes, it was just the drought, then we need to address it. If we have a water system that was built 50, 100 years ago. We need to modernize it because the environment is changing. We're having more fires up in the hills, up in Jack's Hill. Those were always a thing, spontaneous fires, but now they're more often. And there are more houses up there now. So so people are being affected more than they were 20 and 30 and 40 years ago. People have asthma and illnesses, and these fires present health problems, health challenges, as well as threat to life and property. So we need to become environmentally resilient by investing in ways to modernize how Jamaica runs. I want a Jamaica, not just a Jamaica that loves, but a Jamaica that works. That people don't need favoritism to get the potholes in front of their home fixed, or favoritism to go to a government institution to get a driver's license or a birth certificate or a marriage certificate, whatever it is. We should be able to have efficient systems everywhere. And I'm starting in my constituency to build that. So let me wrap up now. To the people of St. Andrew Northeastern, whether you have met me or not, I hope that this interview has been helpful to get you to know who is Stacey Knight and what I'm about. To those who haven't met me, I want to say to them, I really hope that you go out and vote. If you only see these few words, go out and vote. Having the constitutional right to participate in choosing who your leaders are is a big deal. It's something that not everybody had. There was a time when women in Jamaica could not vote. You had to be male. There was a time when you had to be a landowner. There was a time you had to be 21 years old. So the voting pool has increased significantly to give more people a say in who your leaders are. Exercise your right. And I'm asking you that if you live in St. Andrew Northeastern or vote in St. Andrew Northeastern on September 3, go to the polling station and vote for Stacey Knight.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacey, and all the best on the campaign trail.
Thanks, Tamara. This has been great.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Thank you so
Blessings.
much. Blessings.